Hello and welcome once again everyone. Today's video features a brand new ship in World of Warships, the Tier 5 Premium American Battleship, USS Oklahoma. USS Oklahoma has a special place in the heart of many, entering service for the first time in 1916, escorting Allied convoys on their way across the Atlantic. Oklahoma was modernized in the late 1920s, going on to rescue American citizens and refugees from the Spanish Civil War. USS Oklahoma met a sad and disastrous end on the 7th of December 1941 during the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. While moored on Battleship Row, she was struck by several torpedoes launched from torpedo bombers from the Japanese carriers Akagi and Kaga before capsizing for the loss of over 400 brave souls. Ship collectors and historians alike will be delighted to welcome USS Oklahoma into the game, and she will be available to all for free on completion of the always courageous collection in update 0.9.10. All that rich history aside, this is a review guide of the USS Oklahoma. So let's dive straight in with the ship build and captain skills I'm using in this video, as all the numbers I reference in this video are based on this exact build. Being at Tier 5, Oklahoma only gets 3 upgrade slots, and the build is for all intensive purposes a standard tank US battleship build. There is a lot of potential for builds to change quite a bit in the future with the introduction of the new captain skills from update 0.9.11, but for now this build will serve as a solid placeholder for those who complete the collection and unlock the Oklahoma. Before delving a little deeper into understanding how Oklahoma performs and develop a successful playstyle, let's take a look at the Oklahoma's armor layout. Foundation for any good battleship is to have decent armor protection to be able to deal with incoming fire. So, using a simple board screenshot, we can see here the Oklahoma gets a bow and stern section, plus the complete main deck, all covered in 19mm of armor. This is pretty standard for Tier 4 and Tier 5 battleships in the game, so you do have to be very wary of not bow or stern tanking enemy battleships, as both sections can be overmatched. This simply means avoiding pointing either bow or stern directly at incoming fire, but presenting an angled profile to mitigate incoming fire. Oklahoma gets an upper belt protection of 25mm and a main armor belt of 343mm, with additional protection on the stern with an aft end armor belt of 333mm just above the waterline and 267mm below. With this additional protection at the rear, your optimal positioning when the opportunity presents itself will be stern angled towards the main bulk of the enemy battleships. Not always achievable, of course, during the course of a fight, but being able to present a profile showing this additional armor protection while remaining angled will go a long way to mitigate incoming damage. I'd strongly advise rushing forward in an attempt to do damage. It will only result in a return to port with the feeling you haven't done yourself or the ship justice. With just 48,200 hit points, you will want to maintain this hit pool as best possible, and it's quite possible having access to 5 repair parties when using the Captain's Skill Superintendent. Oklahoma only gets an 18% torpedo protection damage reduction, so again torpedoes will be incredibly dangerous. So keeping your distance and using the advantages of your long-range guns will serve a multitude of purposes. It not only keeps you out of the range of most of those pesky destroyer captains looking to put holes in your ship, and gives you the additional time to put effective fire on the enemy over the course of a game from range. The Oklahoma's main battery guns are its mainstay, and despite having a slow reload time, staying alive and keeping these guns firing over the course of a game will be pleasantly surprised at the results. So let's take a closer look at the main battery. First, the turret's armor protection. These turrets get a frontal plate of 457mm, front side plating of 254mm, and rear side plating of 229, top plate of 127mm, and finally a rear plating of 229. The Oklahoma's main battery guns consist of 10 356mm guns with a 2x2 and 2x3 turret layout, equally divided both fore and aft. These guns with this build have a reload time of 40 seconds and a max firing range of 17.1 kilometers, which can be increased to 20.5 kilometers when launching the spotter plane. These turrets have an 180-degree turning time of 43.4 seconds and a max dispersion of 231 meters. No access to the accuracy mod for the US battleships, but having 10 guns with this dispersion is not that bad, and they do feel quite reliable. Of course RNG can screw with you, but in general these guns work pretty well. I would personally prioritize using armor piercing most of the time, and when presented with really stubborn angled armored targets, well, the high explosive is functional. Oklahoma's high explosive rounds can inflict a max damage of 4900 with a base fire chance of 27% and are capable of penetrating 59mm armor. The maximum AP damage is 10,000 and is capable of dealing knockout blows to enemy targets. So if you happen to be on the receiving end, be wary when Oklahoma has its guns on you. The shell velocity for both AP and HE is identical at 792 meters per second, so no adjustments are required for leading targets when swapping out shell types. I highly recommend using armor piercing as much as possible, as the penetration for this tier feels quite good, and results have been surprisingly good, making me think at times that it was quite fun being able to club some seals despite having the slow reload. When it comes to Oklahoma's AA defense, it can feel a little underpowered, and certainly not comparable to the USS Texas, the other Tier 5 American premium. Oklahoma gets 20 single AA mounts, in total ranging from 12.7mm right up to 127mm. All combined, they can pump out a continuous average damage of only 99, with the medium range being the significantly weakest of the three, those being short, medium and long range. Oklahoma's AA can fire 3 black bursts per salvo, capable of inflicting a max damage of 1190 with a max firing range of 4.8 kilometers. This is as good as it gets, I'm afraid, as unlike the new branch of US battleships, Oklahoma doesn't get any defensive fire, nor the option to use the fighter consumable, so enemy carriers will be a major threat. Sticking close to other friendly battleships is thus highly recommended. Even a Tier 6 carrier will be reluctant to attack two battleships grouped up, unless forced into doing so. When it comes to evading such an attack, Oklahoma's maneuverability, despite the very slow base speed, 19.7 knots, which can be increased to 20.7 knots when mounting the Sierra Mike signal flag, has a very good turning circle of only 610 meters and a rudder shift time of 13.4. So while it may feel quite slow, Oklahoma is capable of maneuvering quite well under fire. So finally, stats wise, we come to the Oklahoma's concealment. When using the captain skill Concealment Expert, we can get the detectability range by sea down to 11.8 kilometers. It is quite competitive, allowing you to outspot the majority of enemy battleships. And when positioned carefully, one can easily drop detection in between salvos. Aircraft can detect Oklahoma from 9.2 kilometers, and should you find yourself behind a smokescreen at any point, it can be useful to remember that your detection range, while firing in smoke, is 100 meters less than your normal detection range, at 11.7 kilometers. I stream on Twitch 4 times a week. You can see the link here on screen and also find it in the video description below. So come on over, say hi, or just hang for a while and watch some entertaining live gameplay. I'll be covering more of the US battleships, including the USS Vermont, among many others in upcoming videos, as soon as the NDA is released. So make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon below to enable notifications so you don't miss out on any news or future giveaways. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you found some useful information on the Oklahoma and how to play this new branch of US battleships, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and share it with your World of Warships friends. It really helps out the channel a lot, so thank you all very much in advance. As the sun goes down on this game, I must admit to having had quite a bit of fun testing the US Oklahoma. What really stood out for me was the number of depth strikes I was getting in this ship. And if you are wondering why the achievements are not actually showing in-game, well, it's because it still had test status at the time of recording. But this footage is the final version, and identical to what you will see on the live server. As Tier 5 goes, USS Oklahoma fits in quite well, and above all is a fantastic historical addition to the game. One final reminder for those asking, how can I get my hands on the USS Oklahoma? The only way right now is to complete the in-game collection called Always Courageous, which is available in update 0.9.10 and can be added to your port for free by simply just playing the game. I'd like to thank you once again all for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more. Take a moment to check out some of my most recent videos and leave a comment below. And until the next time, keep sailing it like you stole it.